Hello and happy 4th of July to you and yours. Be safe out there. It's been a minute since I spoke to you. I got a lot to get to. I hope everything's been well with you, and I hope everything's been well with yours. I want to talk about a gun show I went to. I want to talk about Derek Chauvin, uh, the myth that there's no retirement plan for gangsters, thugs. That's bullshit, people. I'm going to prove it. I'm going to talk about Cosby, Rashad, Howard University, the Boy Scouts, NBA, UFC, movies, television, news. I'm going to keep it brief and I'm going to keep it moving. I appreciate you being here. Like I said, it has been a minute. I was busy with life. Happens, nothing bad, but just life happens. And sometimes you need to recharge your batteries, do what you have to do so that you can move on and continue to do the podcast. I do appreciate your viewership. I do appreciate your feedback. I do appreciate your comments. You know the story. I do this out of pleasure. I don't do this because of any other reason. Not to knock you in head that I'm smarter than you, that I have more knowledge than you, that my opinion outweighs your opinion. You just listening to somebody else's opinion. That's all. Okay. So I went to this gun show. It was the C&E gun show. And I'm going to say that the C&E gun show was all right. I actually did get to purchase weapons. I did get to purchase ammo. So I have to give them thumbs up. But the actual guns themselves on display, it was very limited. Now, the Dixie Knife and Gun Show was a much bigger crowd of tables that actually had guns. So I think Dixie outweighs them. Matter of fact, Dixie will have another show on August the 1st, July 31st, and I will be going to that too because I need more ammo. At this gun show, I picked up a Kimber 380 Micro. Beautiful gun. I took it to the range. This thing shoots well, is accurate, it handled. What I did was I wanted to make sure that it could run, so I used my hollow points, which I was advised not to do. But you know what? I'm not going to have full metal jacket in it if I need it. So I got to make sure that it could run the ammo that I brought. And I did buy carbon, I believe it was 90 grain or carbon 90 grain hollow point personal defense, and it ran through smoothly. Barely any kick. I also brought a Taurus 40 cal Smith and Wesson, and this bad boy is not only loud, it bucks, but it was accurate. And this one I shot with full metal jacket, range bullets. I have a box that I want to get rid of, so I made sure that it could run. I just wanted to make sure that these weapons I didn't purchase them, and that they were a waste of my money, and I had to get them fixed. But they both ran beautiful. For a 40 cal, I didn't think that it bucked but so much. It was pretty damn accurate. I'm not a person that shoots a lot, but this was one of those rare times I go to the range, which I will start going once a month because I want to put at least 500 rounds through this Kimber. I heard that it's pretty tight mechanically. It is a beautiful, beautiful gun. I have a picture posted. Uh, I mean, it is a fine weapon. It's an expensive gun. Kimber does not make cheap weapons. I will tell you that you are going to spend $600 to $700 for a Kimber. This is in a 1911 style, and it's just a micro version of a 1911. It fits beautiful in a pocket holster, no problem. I mean, it's lightweight. You barely know you have it, so it's a great thing. So Derek Chauvin has been sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison for the murder of George Floyd. He also is going to have to deal with these federal charges. I feel no sympathy, no empathy, nothing for him. I think he's a real son of a bitch to sit there and tell the family that like he has some big reveal coming down the line. No, you going to prison, motherfucker. That's your big reveal. And to put a dig in and barely say anything that showed any empathy, any sympathy for them, for their loss. He can go fuck himself. His mother can go fuck herself with her nasty bullshit that he's been nothing but an outstanding good boy and that he has served the community for 19 years. This is a man that had multiple violations against him, but nobody ever called his bitch ass out on it. Now he gets called out, and then this mother who we never seen at the trial pops up at the last second. Maybe somebody put some money in her fucking bank account, and that's why she showed up. So, you know, we have had, we're up to 35 million cases of COVID. 621,000 people have died, but at least we have 326 million people vaccinated. Worldwide, we have 182 million deaths, and 4 million deaths and 182 million cases. We got this variant out there. I still want you to be safe when you're around people. Uh, Tell your friends, your buddies, your loved ones, your coworkers, don't throw it down their throat, but ask them if they have not been vaccinated. What is their valid excuse for not being vaccinated? Why not get out there and help society, help humanity go on by us all getting to the point where we can go back to normal lives, fill up these arenas, fill up these concert venues, fill up these amusement parks, fill up theaters, restaurants, and things of that nature. Don't you want life back? But there's a thing that we must do to make sure that we can get life to come back. We lost quite a few people since I was last here. Jim Fossil was the head coach who took the New York Giants to the Super Bowl. He died at the age of 71. Ned Beatty, who was in Deliverance, Network, and Superman, he died at the age of 83. Shanika Shakur, better known as Munster Cody Scott, died at the age of 57. He wrote a book called Munster, the autobiography of an LA gang member, which I must have read about 2 or 3 times. It was a very interesting read, especially being an East Coaster, not knowing a lot about what was going on with the 8 trays and the rolling 60s. It was very informative. I still have the book today. Someone that I know personally, Brandon Washington, a young man that I held as a baby, was murdered in the streets of Brooklyn in May, late May, and I did not find out about it until June, and I haven't really done a show since. And I say rest in peace, Brandon. That was a tough one. It hit me in the gut. Frank Bonner, who used to be on WKRP in Cincinnati, he died at the age of 75. Stuart Damon, who played the chief of staff, Dr. Alan Quatermain, on General Hospital, died at the age of 84. Former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld died at the age of 88. And Dell the Patriot Wilkes, who used to be in the WWE, died at the age of 59. So Bill Cosby was released from prison on the 30th of June. Technicality. It does not mean that Bill Cosby didn't do this. Because Bill Cosby says he didn't do it, we are just going to automatically throw away the testimony of the 60 women who said that he did this. And supposedly there's documentation that he incriminated himself, and that was part of the technicality that you can't self-incriminate yourself. So Bill did a deposition where he supposedly, I'm saying supposedly because I have not read it, I am not privy to it, and I don't want to go on rumors and innuendos, but this is the word that's out there. I don't think, this is just personally, that this many women, even though they came out at a later date, would come at you like this. I don't know what the conspiracy is. I don't see how Bill Cosby was changing the planet for black people and being so progressive that he was making it where they had to destroy him. I don't see that. And if this is the rationale that he's trying to use, he's saying stupid shit. His people are saying stupid shit like this is a great day for women. How the fuck is this a great day for women? Women got fucked over this. A man accused of doing this, sentenced, guilty, in prison, released early, is a victory for women. He's a victory now. He is George Floyd. He is injustice. He is social change. bullshit, Bill Cosby. Felicia Rashad should be fucking ashamed of herself for coming to the defense of this man and not thinking about the repercussions of her words. To not say, you know what, I wasn't there. How does she know this is a total injustice? Because she could reach him on the phone and she worked with him? Howard University not coming down on Miss Rashad is a shame also. Saying some bullshit. She's a dean and her personal opinions about subjects really don't affect. What about all the young black women who are going to be under her ward at Howard University? And if they have a problem, is she going to turn a blind eye because she just told the world, no, prove it, more than prove it, fuck you. I don't even believe you. And her fake ass apology, which was pressured, didn't mean shit to me. It really didn't mean anything to me. We had these people, and I should say rest in peace to them also. The Chaplin Tower, South Beach, Miami building that collapsed on the 24th, where they at least have now over 18 people dead and like 140 people missing. This is a tragedy, man. I feel for them. I feel for their families. I really don't have a lot to say about this other than that I'm hoping that if there is a God in heaven, that those who are alive do not suffer and that they are found ASAP. Because to be trapped in a situation like that 3-4 days, what it mentally does to you is leave you with a feeling of an abandonment that I cannot imagine and I don't want them to go through. I wish no ill will on anybody, even though I say things about people, even a Bill Cosby, who I think is a piece of shit. I don't wish him ill. That's on him. What happens to him, but it's not because I wish it or that I hope it. This is not how I feel. The Boy Scouts of America, these pieces of shit organization, have reached the $850 million settlement. 60,000 men have come forward and claimed child abuse against this organization. An organization that should have never been started to begin with. It has been a pedophilia heaven since day one. Who would want to take young men unwatched out into the woods, out into camping areas where they are prey? And we have watched as a country, as a world, and allowed this organization for over 100 years to damage tens of thousands of young men, and some of them go on to be abusers themselves. This is a shame. We need to end the Boy Scouts of America. I always hated them. I hated the idea of it since I was a kid. This was not something that came up to me. I had friends who did it, and I thought it was unusual to begin with. First of all, who the fuck is dressing little boys in poom poom shorts? Why is that the outfit? Little, Daisy Dukes. Who the fuck is dressing little boys in Daisy Dukes and then sending them out to the woods with these men who are not vetted? We don't know their criminal backgrounds. We don't know anything about them. The whole idea was evil to me to begin with. I don't see how Chyna not making some little fucking oath gives you the right to take people's children. And the people who send their children, they're suspect too. I'm not letting them off the hook. When you've had this many allegations for this many decades and to still send your children to the wolves as sheep dressed in poom poom mini Daisy Duke shorts, what are you thinking? Fuck the Boy Scouts. Fuck them thoroughly. Them, I wish no goodwill. I wish that they shut down tomorrow because there's no good come of it. It's basically all evil, and evil has got to go. So I did say I was going to talk about this retirement plan for gangsters. We've always been told this myth and rumor that gangsters don't have 401ks. Gangsters don't have retirement plans. Well, I'm here to tell you that's a bunch of bullshit. Gangsters have a fucking 401k And they also have a retirement plan if they live long enough. It's called YouTube. It's called Instagram. It is called Twitter. If you are a gangster, a street thug with any name recognition at all, and you are willing to tell horror stories, you can go on social media and get millions of viewers to each story you tell. D, I will not mention any of them. We have white mafioso. We have black street legends from Brooklyn. We have black street legends from Washington. We have black street legends from LA, all over the nation, who are now making tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars, telling the stories of the devastation that they have done against their communities, that they held hostage, that they held under the whip, who they literally held under the gun, who have murdered. We have people now who have podcasts online on YouTube who are murderers. Uh, you would basically say serial type murder. When you are talking 6 to 10 murders and you are allowed to profit off of talking about it, and then you do it under the guise that I'm trying to help the next generation, which I think is a crock of shit. It is, if there was no financial gain, these people would not be doing it. They would fade into black and they would just go away. But not only that, they sell merchandise. They try to get book rights, movie rights. So don't tell me there's no fucking retirement plan for gangsters. There is. Social media has made a retirement plan for gangsters. Some who said that they would never speak are now out there with the most videos. And they do these shits 3, 4, 5 times a week. And like I said, they get hundreds of thousands to million viewers a clip, and it's not free. If it was free, or they were turning money over to boys and girls clubs in their communities that they helped to destroy, then I would tip my hat. But I can't tip my hat to this bullshit. I listened to a couple of them. First of all, I think there's no code when you tell stories and you put names to stories. Who the fuck says that somebody want their story told? Because you telling a story doesn't mean you have the right to tell your buddy's story, or you don't have a right to tell a rival story. You say what you say and you don't put their names in it. But this is what how we live, this is what it's about. So I see my park, Washington Square Park, a park that I grew up in basically. A park I love in New York. I went to college right across from that park at NYU. It was a beautiful park. I mean, it always had shit going on. You always had dudes selling weed. It was always, linking up, hooking up, drinking, skateboarding, and all that. But lately, New York has overran this park, and this park is fucking out of control. I hope that they can get some kind of control, because those students are not paying those prices to go to that college to not even have peace of mind. New York City, please get your shit together. I love you. I love you with all my heart and soul. I am a native New Yorker to my core. Everything that I am about, I basically learned how to maneuver in the streets of New York City, from the Bronx to Brooklyn to Staten Island to Queens, and definitely Manhattan, where I made most of every dollar that I ever made in my entire life. I made in the borough of Manhattan. So I finally set up a trip to go to Vegas. I'm not going to tell you when. That's nobody's business. I think it's foolish when people post that they're away on vacation while they're on vacation, things of that nature. But I'm finally going to go to Vegas, and I can't wait to see this resort, world new hotel. I can't wait to see the Circa. I haven't been down. Last trip to Vegas was 2017, so it's been a minute. I'm excited and I'm ready to go. So Trump finally admits that he didn't win. Whoop de fucking do. Wow. You didn't win. You're the last person to fucking realize it. Go fuck yourself, Donald Trump. So Rudy Giuliani has now been suspended from practicing law over his false election claims. He really wanted to be Donald Trump's next Roy Cohn, and he's succeeding. Maybe he'll get disbarred like Roy did and go to his grave in total disgrace. So Biden decides that he wants to give this child tax credit to family who have children, this extra like stimulus money. But what is he telling people who don't have children? Go fuck yourself. You're good to go. I mean, why isn't this for a blanket for all people in America? Now, if somebody can explain this, please hit me up. Why are childless people not receiving any of these funds? I'm not asking for me personally, but would I mind getting the extra $300 for the next couple of months for nothing? Sure, I would. And you know you would too. So hit me up if you know something about this that I'm totally misinformed on. But you know what? I guess good for the motherfucking woman that pumped out 5 kids. That's $1,500 or so in her pocket for doing nothing for the next couple of months, other than the fact that she breathed. So the good doctor went off the air. The season finale came, and Claire's leaving the show. I'm sad to see Claire leave the show. I really enjoyed Claire. Uh, it seems like anytime a black character, Hispanic character on that show builds up any steam, they're out of there. This is the third person of color to leave the show since it started, and we're only on the fourth year. Mr. In Between has been very good. You can't even call the dude Mr. In Between anymore because he's just wicked right now. This whole season, he's just been about business, kicking ass, and killing. The Legends, I watched Bret Hart, and that was a very good episode. I watched The Dark Side of the Ring. They had the Dynamite Kid. If you haven't seen it, that's a good episode. The Pose finale, season or series finale of Pose, the whole last season was great. I liked how they went out. They didn't want to make you sad. They didn't want to make you angry. They wanted to leave where you would remember the show in a positive light, and they did a great job. The Ultimate Fighter's back. Alexander Bolowski's team is going up against Brian Ortega. We on like episode 4 has been very interesting. No, actually, episode 5 has been a very interesting season. The Ultimate Fighter should always be on the air. It's a hell of a show. It's a very good show, and I think that it deserves to stay on the air all times. Every season, there should be an episode, just like there should be always episodes of Hard Knock for the NFL. And unfortunately, my Dallas Cowboys will be the team for the third time. Instead of focusing on business, we'll be focused on the bullshit of the cameras. You know, Legendary had their finale, and that was a very good season. If you've never seen Legendary and you just want to have fun watching a show, you get to see some of the stuff of the ballrooms. I would say that it's very interesting. They have a lot of guest hosts. It's a good show, right? Hell's Kitchen 23 and Under is back. Uh, I watched a documentary called Circus of Books. That is a very good documentary about the gay bookshop in San Francisco. Uh, the owners, you will like them, and they will also piss you off because when it came time to support lesbian and gay rights, they wasn't initially there. It was just about the money, and the mother grew to change her mind and actually embrace the gay community, which I found was a good thing. I'm watching MasterChef. That's a good series, even though the audition sucked. Loki, I watched the first episode. It dragged me in, but I'm going to save all the other episodes that so I can actually marathon them back to back and watch the series. This way, I don't have to wait week to week. So I got like 4 of them on hold. I also watched 1971, the year that music changed everything. Uh, it's all right. It's all right. They don't delve deeply into what they meant by the year that music changed everything, but it was pretty good. Now, I do have a documentary I'm going to tell you to stay 100 miles away from. It is called Grace Jones Blood, Light, and Bambi. This is one of the worst documentaries that I've ever seen in my entire life. It made no sense. Grace led us into nothing. It was like a series of long videos for her new album. I felt like she played us, and I was pissed. I Sniper, fantastic documentary. You by the time you're in episode 4 or 5, you can't wait for Muhammad and Malbo to be caught because they outplaying and outsmarting the police at every turn. I mean, we know how it ends. We all know how it ends. But if you watch the documentary and to hear Lee Malvo speak, where he seems to remember every detail, I almost felt like this motherfucker was getting off on reliving the details of the crimes that he committed, the evil that he committed. There's a show out there called Kevin Can Go Fuck Himself. I recommend you give it a try. It's a different kind of comedy. It's a dark comedy and then it's a regular sitcom. Now that's kind of hard to explain. When she's dealing with her husband Kevin, it is like watching I Dream Lucy. You know, I Love Lucy. And then when she's not around Kevin, it becomes this dark, dark comedy where even the lighting changes to darkness. You know, Liz has left the blacklist. I am happy. Maybe the blacklist can go back to being what it used to be about Red Reddington and no longer about Elizabeth and her bullshit. I thought that she was destroying that show. I also watched a documentary on China that was on Vice TV. It was a very good and informative. And if you love China the way I love China, because I thought China was revolutionary, I don't think there's ever been a female in wrestling like Chyna. It will make you sad. I also watched My Name is Bolger. It talked about the two brothers, not just Whitey, but his brother Bill, who was a congressman or something from Massachusetts. And then they also spoke on Whitey the gangster and how the two, coincided in the same town at the same time. It's a very interesting watch. Yesterday, I watched The Summer of Soul, which was about the musical acts who came to Harlem in the summer of 1969. The same year as Woodstock, there was a black music festival in Harlem that went for 6 weeks. Something that I had, being a native New Yorker, it blows me away. I never heard not one person talk about this series of concerts. These were not little names. They were big name acts who appeared. Uh, Nina Simone, Fifth Dimension, David Ruffin, Stevie Wonder, Mahalia Jackson, the Pointer, I mean, no, the Staple Singers, among others, all appeared. 300,000 people sometimes watching these concerts, and being a New Yorker, nobody ever mentioned it once. Poor NC State, they had to get kicked out of the College World Series because of COVID-19 protocol violations. So I feel horrible for them. I mean, they were a game or two away from actually going to the World Series finals. And you know what? COVID is still around, people. It's still real. It ain't never been fake. It's always been real. John Dobson, the Magic Man from UFC, was in a car accident with his family and his wife and his three children. I wish them nothing but the very best. I mean, I always liked John Dobson. I enjoyed him on The Ultimate Fighter. He's a high energy, high skill level fighter, and I'm hoping to one day see him again ply his trade in the UFC. Matter of fact, speaking of the UFC, the McGregor versus Poirier 3 is coming up next Saturday. They're both 1-1. Conor beat Dustin when he was young. Dustin knocked out Conor last year. I am expecting pretty much the same thing. Poirier should beat Conor McGregor. But there's also some interesting fights on this card. We got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He's going to fight Gilbert Burns. That should be a barn burner. Ty Tuivalova is going to fight Greg Hardy. Max Griffin is fighting Carlos what does he call himself? The mass murderer, the serial killer Condit. So the NCAA has finally ruled that college players can profit off their name, image, and likeness. Good for them. But I do have one question about this. Does that mean that the game jersey that you wore, are you able to keep that and now put that on like eBay for the highest bidder and have people uh, auction for it? Can you keep your game on cleats, wristbands? I mean, how is that going to play out with like Nike and Under Armour and the people like that who actually, is the school going to say we own the jersey, or does the student own the jersey? So I think they still got a few things to work out there. But if these kids can make $1, I mean, some of them come from nothing, man. Nothing. Literally nothing. If the school didn't give them meal passes, they wouldn't eat. I mean, let's be honest about this. So the fact that they can now go to a signing at a auto dealership or sell some merchandise on a podcast is a beautiful thing. Um, I'm happy for them. You know what I mean? This week, oh, well, first, before I get to that, Sha'Carri Richardson has been suspended after testing positive for marijuana. I'm glad that Miss Richardson owns up to the fact that there are rules and you cannot violate rules that you pick to violate. Do I think that marijuana is performance enhancing? Hell no. I'm not a fucking idiot. No, it is not performance enhancing. But should she have waited until she got that gold medal around her neck and then lit up the biggest fucking spliff on the planet? Yes, I wish she would have. I think that she could have been a major star. I think she would have got a huge endorsement deals. I mean, she seemed to have personality, flair, and stuff like that. And I wish her the best going forward, but I wish that she would not have lit up that joint. Matter of fact, anybody who's using any form of drugs, you got to think about the consequences of getting high. There are consequences of getting high. If you lose your family, you get a DWI, DUI, you harm somebody, you shoot your gun that you're licensed for, but you were under the influence. There's cause and effect. You must be willing to pay the piper for the things that you do. And Miss Richardson is not exempt from that. So we're going to have a Capital One golf match, celebrity and pro golfer this week. So Phil Mickelson is teaming up with Tom Brady, and they're going to take on Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers. I will be there for that. I love seeing regular people golf. Not so much Phil and Bryson, but I want to see Tom and Aaron. I would like to see their games, even though I know that they're better than probably the average weekend huffer. I just like seeing it. So I'd like to also give a congratulations to Carl Nesbitt. On the 22nd of June, he came out of the closet. He's the first active player in NFL history to do so. Now, there was a kid who Sam tried to get into the NFL. He came out after he came out from college, but he was behind the eight ball the whole time, and he really didn't get a fair shake. I mean, he was the defensive player of the year in the NCAA, and he couldn't make an NFL roster. When does that ever happen? But Carl is established. He's been around for quite a few years, and it would look bad to cut him. And I don't think the Raiders are going to be vindictive. I think they're going to back him. I mean, you know what? It's his life. I don't think that people should have to hide who you are, man. I mean, I can't imagine personally being attracted to males and have to pretend that I'm attracted to females. That would go against everything that I stand for because I stand for a code. And if you can't be who you are, if you have to lie about who you are, then you got nothing, man. You got nothing, lady, because you got to be you. At the end of the day, you have to be able to sleep and look in the mirror and say, that is who I am. This is what I'm about. If you have predilections, own them. If you have shortcomings, own them. That's how you improve upon who you are, not by being something that you're not, because the easiest thing to be in this entire planet is you. And I don't think that gay and straight should have to even be used anymore. I don't want to, I want to know Carl Nesbitt for fucking making a sack, uh, blocking a pass in the playoffs, not because of who the fuck he sleeps with. That I don't care anything about. So Rick Carlisle stepped down as the Mavericks coach, and he's now become the Pacers coach. Jason Kidd has now become the Dallas Mavericks coach. He won a championship with him. Good for Jason Kidd. I mean, this is not his first coaching job. Hopefully he'll do a better job. He's got some players in Dallas. Let's see what becomes of that, right? The 2021 NBA Coach of the Year was Tom Thibodeau from the Knicks. The MVP was Nikola Jokic. The Defensive Player of the Year was Rudy Gobert. The Rookie of the Year was LaMelo Ball. Thaddeus Young won the Hustle Award. It seemed like some shit they just came up with. What the fuck is the Hustle Award? But congratulations to him. And also, congratulations to the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks for making the NBA Finals. Chris Paul has been in that league for 16 years. I have never been a fan of Chris Paul, so I'm not going to sit here and fake the funk. But he proved me dead ass wrong. He balled out. He took this team that he's only been with 1 year, and he has turned them around from just 2 years ago. I think they were like one of the worst teams in the league. They are in the NBA Finals. And congratulations to Giannis, and congratulations to Middleton and Lopez for taking the Milwaukee Bucks, who have been knocking on this door now, it seems like for 3 years. They finally get the opportunity to go to the final. Now, pushed up against the wall, if Giannis comes back, I am picking the Milwaukee Bucks to win the NBA title. So that's my view on that. And once again, I'm going to say that KIMBER 380 or the KIMBER 9mm micro is a fantastic gun. The Taurus 40 cal Smith & Wesson, for the price, I mean, think about this, 40 cal, that is stopping power like a motherfucker. And for what I've been told, it might even actually have more kick than the 45. That is a good gun. I mean, you can get that in the I say anywhere between $250, $300 range. But that KIMBER, you're going to pay $600 to $700 for. And that is a beautiful, not only crafted well, it looks good. Not that it has to look good, it needs to do its job. This is a get off me gun, great backup gun. Maybe it's your EDC, and you just don't want to carry something big. You walking around with shorts and a t-shirt. This is easy concealable. I am telling you, I'm not telling you secondhand, I'm telling you firsthand. I've had this thing now for at least 3 weeks. I barely even know that I have it with me. It has a, like I said, because it's on the 1911 frame, you got to pull back the hammer. It has a manual safety. Matter of fact, both of these models have manual safeties. For those who do not feel comfortable carrying without a safety, you're going to get a safety on both of these. They're both thumb safeties. You can carry it locked and loaded if that's how you want it, with the safety on, and you're good to go. Just get a good holster. Make sure that you don't have nothing else in that pocket if you're carrying this KIMBER in your pocket. Remember that. Always remember, no change, no keys, no money. Designate that pocket for nothing but that gun and that holster. And never reholster it while the holster's in your pocket and the gun is in your hand. Take the holster out, put it back in, and then put it in your pocket as a unit, never separate. I'm going to tell you, like I tell you all the time, that I thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking in there. I'm sorry about all the cussing, but sometimes you got to talk, and you just got to talk the way it comes out of your mouth. I don't really apologize much for it. This is not for children. Kids don't really get me, and I dig that. And I'm not trying to really talk to young people in that manner. And I'm going to go back to my normally scheduled time. So I guess I'll be back on the 12th of July. And I'm going to tell you, like I tell you each and every time, people, peace to you and peace to yours.
This is not a job. It's your passion. From the walls you paint to the wood you stain, you put craft